requirements, which means that our students in the 12th grade, in order to ensure that they have the opportunity to pursue whatever careers they want, they need to be able to get to the level where they can actually take AP classes. And I know that sounds daunting, but if it's what's expected, it's what we need to be focused on. It's not enough that we're able to complete and provide students that basically place Dublin High School in the top 1/3 of the state. We are still ranked with only 30% readiness outside amongst the rest of the colleges and universities per US News and World Report. That's not good enough. We're competing against students across the United States. So from my perspective, I would actually look at the senior year as being the line by which we draw and look back at what we can do to enable students to accelerate through their course preferences so that they can achieve the required coursework that they need to submit an application into that program in college. This is what we're preparing our students for. If we're talking about career and college readiness, we need to actually look at where they're going and work backwards. If we're talking about balance, I would look at actually developing different directions for each student interest. We need to start in the junior high and look at where students might be introduced to other programs so they can start to build that career path then. Not wait until they're in their junior year to try and figure out what they want to do with their lives. We spend too much time sending students off to second-year colleges, two-year colleges, so they can finally figure out what they want to do. I want to try and build a larger number of students beyond the 50% that we spend to four-year programs, and build that up to about 70% of our graduates. Thank you.
I think the key word in the question is balanced education. We put a lot of emphasis on our students for AP classes, which we have more students today taking AP classes and passing AP classes than ever before. But there's more to being prepared for college and career than an AP course. It's really making sure that we're looking at the whole child. We're looking at what do they need to be successful. We need to make sure the arts are in our schools. We need to make sure, to Mr. Sherry's point, that we have things like ROP, which I sit on the ROP board, which the Regional Occupation Program offers students the opportunity to get into film, nursing, auto shop, welding. There's a ton of programs they do. And so we need to continue to look at these programs in order to widen the need for our students. One of the things that we've done over the last several years is we introduced the Gale period at Dublin High. And in addition, we have freshman seminar. So we're not waiting until their junior year to prepare them. We're actually starting this back in middle school. And by the time they get to the freshman year, they are in a freshman seminar where they're actually putting a 10-year plan together for their future. So we are looking at the child, the whole child, and the end point of where we're trying to get. But we need to make sure in the process that we don't eliminate things like the arts, that we don't eliminate things like the regional occupational programs. One of the greatest things we've done is our professional learning communities. We are educating our teachers on what is needed for their students to learn to be successful. So we spend a lot of time making sure our teachers are prepared and also making sure that our students are prepared in the future. Thank you.
My motto is well-rounded quality education, and I stress on the well-rounded part of it because that's where balanced education comes in the picture. I think when we are talking balanced education, it should cover both. ACADS would cover the mind. It enables your mind, sports enable your body physically, and arts is where I feel it adds to your soul, it builds a character. It's also a great piece on stress and other things. I think students can study better if they are provided an environment where they can learn, and this is where I bring wellness into the picture. I always say curriculum is very important, and we need to stress on the curriculum so that we teach the right thing. We have PLCs where we enable our teachers to enable the learning of the students. We have opportunities wherein we provide our high school students to learn and take up additional courses, additional opportunities, AP. In addition to that, we have pathways and ROP. We have most of our students ready, but every year we monitor it. We provide them an intervention program, which is a real good program, which allows them to address our needs early. We look at addressing them in elementary, engaging and empowering them in middle school, so that they are enabled at the high school. More than just programmatic, we should also provide opportunities to the top qualifying students wherein they have opportunity to succeed at their level, provide not just for example GATE students, so we should provide them opportunities as well. So it's not just about high school student, it is across the board wherein you empower them at each stage, monitor their progress and make sure they are up to the grade or better so that they can deliver at high school and our colleges. Thank you.
So we talked about growth earlier. The one benefit of growth is,
Actually,
no,
Jill is next.
I'm sorry, Amy.
That's okay.
but I was-
More time is good. Okay, so this is actually why I'm the most excited about being on the school board. It's the work that we do to create a balanced environment for our students. We have some of the highest standards in the state. Our school district has some of the highest standards in the region. Our kids are receiving all of those enrichment opportunities from AP classes to pathways. We have a biomedical sciences program, engineering program, and they start at the middle school level now. We have Project Lead the Way classes in our middle school. One of the things I'm the most proud of is that we've brought in counselors for every level of K-12 now. We've brought in more counselors, and we are looking at how to, give our students the most opportunities they can have academically, but also make sure that their social, emotional well-being is taken care of. And we do that, we have a program called Capturing Kids' Hearts, and over a couple hundred of our teachers are trained in that. And basically, it teaches them that if you're connected, if students feel connected to their teachers, they're gonna be more successful at school. So we're looking at finding balance, and like Mr. Cunningham mentioned, our Gale period. I think that's one of the best things we've implemented in this school district. It gives students a chance to breathe, to catch up on their homework, to get tutoring. We have tutoring from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at the high school right now. We've put response to intervention programs in at every level, so students who aren't succeeding are getting the help they need. We are looking at our math trajectory, constantly looking at how can we improve it so kids that are accelerated have those opportunities, and then also those kids who need help have the opportunities. We have, our ROP program is amazing. I chaired that committee also, and we have done so much to put pathways in that lead directly to careers, but what's really special about our ROP program is all those classes, even auto shop, even nursing, meet the A through G requirements for our students, so they can be electives, but also expose them to real world experience. We have mentorship programs for our engineering students. I could go on and on, but I will say that one of the biggest priorities of this school board, at least the one that I've served with for the past 6 years, is the balance for our students, academic and social emotional balance. Your turn.
So like I said before, we mentioned growth before, and some of the bad things of growth is capacity. But one of the good things about growth is the ability to offer lots of programs. So the more kids we have in the system, we can offer more variety of larger programs. With that, need teachers as well. So we have to be able to cultivate and bring in quality teachers. And it requires funding. So we gotta look at the state, make sure they give us our fair share of funding. Right now the state's cutting back funding. So we gotta make sure we keep them on the state to pay for the teachers that we need to get. Like Amy said earlier, emotional support. That's one of my biggest things I'm concerned about with the school system. There are no emotional support mechanisms in place for kids at school. I met with 40 kids last week that are high school kids between freshmen to seniors. There's nothing for them. If they get stressed out, there's nowhere to go. There's 2 nurses in the district. They're not there all the time. They need someone to talk to. So I like to up our emotional support mechanisms so we can send kids out that are smart, have their STEM, have their AP classes, but can deal with society's pressures. They can go to college, handle themselves, stay in college, and do a good job. I like the partnership with colleges. We have a few partnerships going on. Let's expand that. So if we don't have an AP course or a course that we don't have enough people to fill, we can send them to a community college to get that course. We have done that, but I think we should expand it. Another issue with some of the kids were, the 40 kids I talked to last week, they need a science class. So they're stuck taking a science class that they don't really need, but there's one they want that's filled. So we gotta figure out ways of expanding our classrooms so the kids can take what they need, not just filling a period of some sort of class. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insightful answers. Now on to the second question, and the order of speaking is number 1, Amy, number 2, Samir, number 3, Joe, number 4, Dan Cherrier, number 5, Gabrielle, number 6, Dan Cunningham. Here comes the question. In February 2016, the board unanimously approved pursuing a second high school to be built on the east side of Dublin. And the capacity is for approximately 2,500 students, with the first phase of approximately 1,000 students to be enrolled. And the plan is to open the school no earlier than 2021. For the existing school board members seeking re-election, do you personally think a second high school to be built on the east side is on track to be opened by 2021? And if not, what is the likely timing? For the potential trustees, if elected, what is your strategy to meet the funding needs for the second high school? So, Amy, you can start.
First. I guess that's only fair. Well, I would love to see a second high school open by 2021 on the east. However, it takes about 4 years to build any school, and we have not identified the site yet. And so until we can identify the site, which we will be doing, if I had to guess, so I don't know, it would be in the next 6 months. My guess is we're gonna work on it. It could take longer, but we have vetted every potential site in the city, and we have narrowed it down based on timing, based on location, based on cost. All of the important factors that you would take into consideration when looking for a second high school have been taken into consideration. We have relationships with every developer who owns any property that we could potentially build a second high school on. And so I am excited because we've narrowed it down to, I think it's 6 now, 5 or 6, yeah. And they're all potential sites, all of course with problems and different obstacles and things that have to be fully vetted. But I'm committed that the next time we bring anything to the public, that it's very transparent and it's as rich of data as we can possibly get at that time. What was that? I think that was your only question. But in terms of funding too, I would just like to say we passed the bond measure. And the bond measure is intended to mitigate the growth at our current high school. None of us wants to see 5,000 kids at our current high school. It just won't work for the community, it won't work for the programs, it changes the entire experience. And so we are very committed to using that bond money to mitigate the growth of a second high school. And the ideal way to do that is to build a second high school on the east side of town. Thank you.
I would draw to the point that we are talking about quality of education, and I would say that if you don't build a second high school, the quality of education is impacted in a big way. You cannot have a 4,000 strong school and still expect everyone to succeed or have the same level of equity in it. And to give that equity, I would say we need to have the second high school. I think that's inevitable, we have passed it, and we're working towards making it happen. I want to assert that yes, I look forward to a second high school by 2021. Why? Because there are no options. When you have no option, you cannot fail. It is like our space program, okay? There are no, failure is not an option at all here. It is a very big thing because it impacts our student directly. When we talk, it's all about our kids, we should mean it, and I think we would make every effort to make this second high school happen. The past several months, what has happened is we have got several sites and we have gone through to understand which of them would be feasible for us, what programs can happen, and what timelines are suitable for it. Okay, what is the cost of building it and how can we adhere to this cost? And that is the reason doing due diligence takes a time. And that is the reason we look forward to making it happen. There are some closed door meetings where we are ensuring that we provide the right information to the community back in the right time so that we are transparent. But this is exactly why it is taking time. But in due course, I do see light at the end of the tunnel, wherein we will have a high school, we'll have a high school by 2021, and I look forward to alleviating a lot of problems which we face with not having that second high school. Thank you.
So that's not be clear that I'm only addressing the funding side of this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just the funding
Yeah.
for second high school.
Yes.
Alright. So the funding of second high school is gonna be a challenge. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not gonna be easy. Yes, we passed Measure H, so we've got about $200 to $280 million of potential bond buying power. We're gonna need a state bond too. We all know we're not gonna put all the money from H bond into one basket. We gotta rebuild some schools here and there. kitchens need to be upgraded, gymnasiums need to be upgraded, so the money's gonna be spent equally. So we're gonna need Measure H, we're gonna need a state bond as well. We're also gonna need some massive developer fee, fixing, I guess. The school board went up there last, year, and they got to level 3 fees. So now we get more fees allowed by developers. Unfortunately, a lot of developers are already in their agreements. This will be difficult to reopen those agreements. We gotta make a valiant effort to try to get more funding from them. Reform at state level, we need the state to pay their fair share. We're already owed money by the state, almost $30 million owed to us by the state. So we need them to pay their bills, so we can do what we need to do in this city. And we are spending your money, so it needs to be transparent, prudent, and responsible. So whatever we do, there needs to be a solid plan, responsible paying, and do what we need to do. That's all.
Yes, we for sure need another high school here on the east side. How are we gonna do that? Well, the only available funds we have right now are Measure H. To count on the state coming through with some magical source of funds is probably not gonna happen. Therefore, we need to maximize Measure H to every extent we can. We need